This super simple automation automatically records my meetings and drastically boosts productivity. So imagine finishing any call and immediately having a detailed list of every action item assigned to the right person with the right deadlines. So this automation even allows you to set predefined checklists for your team, tracking if they complete tasks like annual memberships or sales calls, all without any manual effort from you. So with this automation, your only job is to attend the meeting. The system captures everything automatically and sends it to an action list. So it's a straightforward and really highly effective automation that will transform the way you manage meetings. So if you're looking for help implementing AI automation systems to help grow your business, then book a free one-on-one call with me. Links in the description. Also, I created a free community group where I share a bunch of free value that isn't my YouTube channel. So link is also down below for my Facebook group. So getting started, you'll just need 3 tools, which is make.com, basically our no-code automation builder, Fireflies AI, which records and transcribes your meetings, and of course, ChatGPT. So Fireflies AI will just automatically join your meetings, record them, and provide a full transcript. So this automation runs daily, capturing and processing all your meetings within the last 24 hours. So it'll even send follow-up emails to participants, keeping everyone on track and boosting your productivity. I'll also get into showing you how to analyze your performance in calls, identify key actions, and track your team's compliance with predefined checklists. So this automation can integrate with tools like Google Docs, Slack, which I'll show you later, or even Notion, making it adapted to your workflow. So getting started with this automation, basically what we're just starting off with is a trigger, which is Fireflies AI. So basically anytime a new meeting is held, this automation is going to trigger. So my end goal here is to basically just give myself a summarized script or, just a summarized and detailed list of what happened in the call and give me some actionable steps. So maybe you just want to record your meetings plainly, or maybe you have sales calls and you want to just track and ensure that you're following the SOPs and really any qualifications properly. So if you're delegating or outsourcing your work to other people who are taking these sales calls, you can just qualify and basically just list out to see if these employees or team members of yours are actually following the calls like they're supposed to. So what I'm going to do is just basically just send myself a simple list of my call. So starting off, we have a Fireflies just listing those transcripts. So anytime that meeting is held, like I mentioned, it's going to start this automation. Then, so because we're going to be given, a bunch of different information, we have to use an iterator, and then we have to use a text aggregator to go through all of that, then give that to ChatGPT, where we're basically just telling it to, sort through all this information and provide, everything from the call in an organized manner, and then sending that to Slack. So it's a very simple automation. We're only using 5 different modules, and it'll probably take you about 20 minutes to set up. So getting started, I'll show you a step-by-step. So I'll go ahead and go into my scenarios, and basically I'll just create a new scenario. So once this loads up, basically all you want to do is we're just going to come up to the top right here and just click create a new scenario. So if you follow my videos before, you should know what a trigger is and what to start your automations with. If not, check out some of my other videos that I posted in the past, and they all give you step-by-steps on how to use make.com. So getting started, we want to start off with a trigger, and basically we're going to use Fireflies. So we're going to list our transcripts. So there's only a few different options, but we're going to list all the transcripts that are available. So we're going to select my user ID. Basically, all you have to do to get to that is just connect your account. So you do that by coming into here, clicking add, and then you'll just click save once you put your API key in. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave all this information alone, and the only thing that we will be changing a little bit is the date. So before I get into the date, I want to show you what happens if I just leave this alone like it is right now. So I'll leave the limit as 5, so I only want this to give me 5 meetings. So I'll go ahead and run this, and we'll see what happens. So there's our output. So it's going to give me 5 different meetings. So here's the first one. So basically this was a call I had with a podcast host. There was discovery calls, just one-on-ones with businesses and everything. So here's all the different meetings I've had. So let's go ahead and go into this first one. So this was a podcast call. So you can go ahead and check out the users, participants, and sentences. So sentences is where you're going to find, everything that was said. So now how we actually want to, put this into something that's actually readable. So what you want to do is we're going to be using text aggregators and iterators. But for the time being, because we only want to find the meetings that we just had and, not all our old ones, what we have to do here is go into the date, and basically all you do, go to this little favorite section and just type in now. So if we choose now, it's only going to choose, the most recent meetings and everything within the past 24 hours. So I'll just choose the limit as 2, and we'll go ahead and run this again, and we'll see what happens. So as you can see, there was no meetings because I didn't have one within the past day or so. So it's not going to list anything, and that's what we want. So we can create an example. So if I hold a meeting right now and then it's actually finished and I try running this, then this should come up. But for now, we're just going to move on to the next module, and this is going to be the iterator. So this is pretty simple. We're just going to click on here, go to flow control, find iterator, and we'll choose the array. And the array is just going to be this little sentences. So map that, and we'll click OK, and we'll go ahead and try running this. So I'll actually remove the now just so I can give you an example of what this will look like. So click OK, and we'll run this again. And we'll wait for our output and see what happens. So there's the operation. So here's the 2 calls, and basically just going through and sifting through all that information. But we don't stop there. So we're going to add a text aggregator. So we'll go ahead and go to tools, and we will just find a text aggregator. And the source module is just going to be the last iterator. So the iterator from this prior module, which is number 2. And the text is just going to be, let me pull this up and show you. So we're going to include this right here. So we want to list everything out as speaker, and then, the text below the speaker. So we're just trying to make it as organized as possible. So I'll reroute this real quick. So basically, oops, let me redo that. So I'll change the speaker name to, all we have to do is just go down here and we'll find the speaker name right here. So the user that I was actually talking to, the business owner, he was actually on his phone, so it didn't list out his name or anything. But yeah, that's why it just says iPhone 6 right there. And for the text, we're just inputting the raw text. So simple stuff right there. And we'll go ahead and run this once. And now we'll just see what's going to happen next. So it should come up with 2 meetings. So we'll check out the first one. So it's going to come down with all these different bundles. So this is, everything that was said in the call. We'll just go ahead and check on this. So as you can see, it broke down that text for me, all structured like. So it's just basically saying speaker is Nick Peruski, myself, obviously. And the text is, just something that I was saying during the call. So I said just because this is a very new industry. So now we want to actually give all this information to ChatGPT to, structure it even more and, just mesh everything together. So just, making everything concise and organized. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy my prompt, but basically I'll break it down a little bit further for you as well. So you can use different LLMs like Claude or really anything else, but I just like using ChatGPT. So we'll go ahead and come down to the creative completion, choose the model. So I'm going to choose the most recent, which is the GPT 4.0. You can use GPT's new 4.0 mini, which is very similar in terms of pricing to 3.5 turbo and has, similar results to one of the latest is model 4.0. But I'm just going to use the 4.0 model, and we'll choose system, and I'm just going to paste in all this information. So what am I saying here? So basically this is an action item extraction prompt. So I want to analyze the provided meeting transcript and extract the meeting name, date, overall summary, and action items for each participant. So I'm telling it to format the output as follows. So give me the meeting and the date and the summary. So I'll go ahead and give it some further instructions on what that's going to look like more specifically. But this is just really the information that we want: the summary, meeting, and date. So we just chose the meeting and we gave it a meeting name, date, and insert a block for the meeting date as well. Then for the summary, I'm just saying, give me an overall summary of the call with the most important details. So you can be more specific with this. You can be saying, ensure that they're following so-and-so instructions, or check if they greeted them welcomingly. So next up, I'm saying participant's name, and then I wanted to provide the actions thereafter and the action description, and also if there's a deadline, to include the deadline following that. And basically we're just doing this for the other person as well. So coming down into the notes, basically I'm just telling it to start with a meeting name and date. Number 2 is to include deadlines in parentheses only if they're explicitly mentioned. Number 3 is to list all actions for one person before moving to the next. 4, do not provide any additional output or explanations. And number 5 is just provide that overall summary of the call. So now we actually want to provide it with the information that it'll need. So we'll go ahead and map that real quick. So for the meeting, we'll go ahead and find the title. So if we go down here, we'll see the title of the meeting was just called podcast. Super simple. Date, all we'll do is just delete this and we'll find the date, which should be down here. So as you can see, date's routed right there. And the transcript, we will find the text from our text aggregator. So super simple stuff. max tokens. So I'm just going to do 500. That's way more than I'll ever need, but just including it in there anyways. So let's go ahead and run this and just see what it looks like. So give it a second to go through all of that. And now we're just waiting for ChatGPT. So as I listed out 2 different meetings, it's going to come up with 2 different outputs, of course. So for the first output, as you can see, here's the input and everything. So you can find the messages and all that. So telling it what to do and all the information that was given to it. So there's the entire conversation and everything. It's super long. It was a long meeting. And now we'll just go to the output and we'll find the results. So we'll go to choices, go down, go to message and content. So here's what it'll look like. So basically it's just coming up with a meeting, date, and here's the big summary. So title, date, summary, simple. So basically in this meeting, it says a meeting focused on exploring a new podcasting concept that integrates music distribution, artist interviews, and just integrating this with an RSS feed. I don't want to get into the juice of it. I don't want to give away, any of my sauce. But anyways, so it's coming up with 2 different actions. So myself, so the actions from me, and the actions from the other end. So this was the business owner's actions. So for me, all I had to do was review the provided documentation and note sheet shared via email, create a situation appraisal outlining proposed solutions for automation, and it says by next meeting, early next week. So there's the specified date, and then to plan a follow-up meeting to discuss next steps for automation and blog creation. Then for him, we're not really focused on this too much, but I could send over, actionable things that he has to do just to make everything super seamless. But basically for him is just to send detailed documentation to myself. So this is basically the entire automation. Now we just want to, put this message somewhere. So I like to operate in my Slack channel. So I give myself notifications. I, include automations to, just notify me of important things that are specifically tailored to my business. So whether that's important emails that I may have missed or, just this summary call. So now what we're going to do is just integrate this with Slack. So go here and we're going to create a message and we're just going to put this into my Slack channel. So I'll go to select from list. I'll actually make sure that I'm connected to my proper channel. So to add your Slack channel, similar as before, you just go to add, go to connection type, and you want to choose whether you want this to talk as a user or a bot. Doesn't really matter which one, and then you just connect your account. So we're selecting from our list to find our channel. And so I already created a channel for this. So this is called, actually, I'll make sure this is a private channel because I don't want anyone else to see this. But if you wanted to, you want your entire team to see the meeting. So maybe you're in sales and you want your boss to see the meeting that you just had, then you just choose public channel. Super simple stuff. Go to private channel. So I had mine listed as meetings. And for the text, all you're doing is just basically inputting the result from ChatGPT. So we'll go to the choices, go to message, go to content. So that's what we're doing here. So I could even say something like, hey, new meeting. Hey, there was a new meeting. And here's a detailed summary with your actionable next steps. So simple stuff. So you can include name, anything like that. Prompt it however you would like, but we'll go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to change this to just 1 because I don't want to get a bunch of meeting statuses into my Slack channel. So now we'll go ahead and run this and see if it gets posted into my channel. So for some reason this didn't probably save. So we'll click OK. And I will try to run this and see what goes into my Slack channel. So the automation just finished running. So I opened up a new tab with my Slack. So now we're just going to come into my channel called meetings. So as you can see, this is a private channel. And as you can see, here's the basically just the detailed summary of the call with the actionable steps. So as I mentioned, I told it to say, hey, there was a new meeting and here's a detailed summary with your actionable next steps. So it's just giving the podcast title or the meeting title, the date, and summary, just like I showed you before. So go through the distribution site and other resources shared by that participant, no deadline specified, and then just a few other pieces of information. So you could be more detailed with this. So like I mentioned before, if you're in sales or if you just want to make sure your team members are, taking these calls correctly and you have an SOP you want to follow. So you can give your SOP straight to the ChatGPT and just tell it, ensure that it's following all these directions, all these instructions properly. And you can include a checklist, like did it include, welcoming the user? Did it tell them to book in a call or anything like that? Then you can have it check off any of those things. So this is basically what it looks like in my Slack channel. So you can also integrate this with Google Docs. So if you actually want to make this into a PDF and actually store this into your Google Drive and everything like that, just to computerize and store everything properly, then all you would do here instead of Slack, what I would just do is add a module, and we'll go to Docs, and basically we'll just insert a template into our Google Docs. So in Google Doc, you'll just create variables. So you do that with 2 brackets, and then within those 2 brackets, you're entering that information right there. So simple stuff. I actually have another video that shows you how you can put all your variables into Google Docs through a template. So I'll link that on the screen. But now we want to make this to actually follow, just the meetings that we're just having. So as I showed you earlier, what we're going to do is just search now, and we're actually going to have to include a filter. So if I try to run this and go ahead and change this to just 1. Okay, it already is. But if I run this, it's going to make up. So I'll show you an example. So it's going to run all this, and it's just going to make up a meeting. So it's giving me a fake meeting. So I'll come into my Slack channel, and it just made up a fake meeting right here. So this meeting didn't actually happen because I didn't have any calls within the past, day, like I mentioned. So to actually get this to, not make up a meeting and only do meetings that are real. So what we do here is add something that we call a filter. So what I did is basically just defining a condition. So I'll go ahead and come into the filter that we'll build out just to show you exactly how you do it. So I'll just call this meeting had. So what we'll do here is basically we'll just find recent meeting, and we just want to make sure that this exists. So all we do is just go ahead and go to basic operators, and there's a whole list to select from, and we'll just choose exist. So if there's no recent meeting, then it's not going to get through that filter and carry on and make up a meeting. So I'll click OK, and we'll just see if this works properly. So as you can see, as I didn't have a meeting within the past day, it didn't run through this entire automation. So if I were to change this to just no date, then it's still going to run through because that meeting actually was held just through that little filter that I included, as it saw that there was a recent meeting. So simple stuff, but I'm actually going to stop this. I don't want any more notifications in my Slack channel. So wanted to thank you for sticking with me through this tutorial where we covered how a simple AI automation can record your meetings, transcribe them, and generate actionable items for you and your team. So this automation not only boosts productivity, but also ensures that nothing slips through the cracks, helping you and your team stay on top of your tasks effortlessly. So if your business isn't operating one of these tools, then you're really just creating more work for yourself than you have to do. But other than that, for those looking to dive deeper, I offer one-on-one consulting sessions where I audit your entire business to discover growth constraints or bottlenecks, anything holding you back. And from there, I create bespoke solutions to target your specific needs, ultimately allowing you to scale. And with that being said, I wanted to mention to just join my free Facebook community where I share tips, tricks, and exclusive content to help you maximize your productivity with AI automation. And you could also network in here with other founders and business operators. So the links for those are down in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.